We've got just 2 weeks to get our AU Falcon to the 12s for 2K challenge at Heathcote Park Raceway. We're running out of time. Hey guys, and welcome back to Scottys Garage. We are seriously running out of time for our 12s for 2K project. We have chosen poorly in terms of what time of the year to do this. I mean, obviously I'm pretty busy with Carnage through the rest of the year and obviously doing Scottys Garage on the weekends. But lately, we've had Drag Challenge and then Christmas and New Year's and then Summer Nats. It has just been the worst time of the year to do this. But we have chosen to do this, so let's just hook in and do it. We have 2 weeks to get to Heathcote Park Raceway. We're gonna be there regardless. So we're gonna make passes regardless of whether the car is right or not. So I'm hoping it'll be right, but I really need to hook in for these next 2 weeks. By the way, we have plenty of stickers and stuff on the Scottys Garage store. So if you want to support the channel, I do a sticker pack that's basically all our stickers, for 20 bucks. I do some of our car build stickers like Dad's Ute and the 12s for 2K. I do them as a pack for 10 or 12. And you can buy the 12s for 2K sticker alone for 3 bucks. You can buy the t-shirt, a very cool 12s for 2K t-shirt. I think that's 45. So support the channel and we can keep doing this stuff. But we also need to hook in and get this stuff done. I need to put the rest of the intake manifold back together. I need to get our injectors in. I've got our spacers there to do that. Once we do that, I'll do a test fire up, make sure everything runs. You will see some changes to the car. I've been shooting 2 videos at the same time, and you will see some changes to the car that may relate to the next video that was supposed to be this video, but because I ran out of parts, it's now the other way around. Anyway, so just avert your gaze in that regard. I've got a J3 chip here sent to us by one of our viewers, so we're going to install that. I'll show you how that all works. I've got the tuner / emulator for the J3 sent to us by one of our other viewers. I've got a wideband logger thing that I've bought from TI Performance. I've also got some other goodies there I bought from TI Performance. TI Performance are the guys who sell the J3 chip. They are really good. They do all the, they can send you tunes. I mean, these are the only way, well, not the only way, but they are the cheapest and best way to tune an EA through to AU Falcon on a budget. So they work. It's as simple as that. There is a little bit more of rigmarole with them because you have to plug and unplug them when you retune them. You can't just tune them live. You basically got to get it in there, do a data log, see what you need to change, make the changes after pulling the chip from the ECU, and then plug it back in and see if your changes work. So there is a little bit of rigmarole there. However, they retail at $299, so they're pretty cheap. We've been sent a second-hand one there from a viewer. I'm hoping it's going to work. I'm putting a $150 value on it. The tuning stuff I don't think is part of the budget because I'm counting stuff that needs to be on the car for it to actually run, basically. I mean, a wideband gauge doesn't make the car run. The tuning tools, while it allows you to tune the car doesn't actually need the stuff in the car to run, so that's my justification there. We'll see how we go. Anyway, let's get it all in, and I'll do the manifold and injector stuff first, and then we'll switch into the J3 stuff, and that should be pretty interesting / terrifying. Right, let's start with the injectors first. It's pretty simple. We've got 2 10 mils holding down our fuel rail. I don't think it's ever been undone. There we go. There's our fuel rail. All right, we'll click our injectors. Just take these little retainer clips off. Easy to do with your fingers. Well, just loosen off our little clips and unplug the injector. That one might be still on the road. Just watch these things, they can go springing wildly. Alright, one injector. A little hook pick like this is definitely the way to go, as long as you don't stab yourself in the finger with it. There's another. Now it's time to start talking injectors. So that's our standard Falcon injector. It is a full length injector. This is the injector we're replacing it with. It is an E85 capable 1000cc injector. As you can see, it is shorter, all right? So this is a full length. This is a 3/4 length, okay? They also use different plugs. So that's your standard Bosch style plug. Bosch mini timer, I think is what they call it. And this is a US car injector plug. But thankfully, when I got these injectors, they came with these adapters on them for the US car. So it plugs on, just connects on, and then gives it the same plug as the Bosch. Okay, so we can use our AU wiring loom, no problems, okay? But that doesn't account for the injector length. So what we need to do there is use these little spacers from Raceworks. We've used them many times. And basically, that spacer goes on the top. You put it on the top, always the top, unless you have injectors that have specific pintles for a bottom style one. But usually they'll come with the spacer if needed. So that'll come on the top and make that a full length injector. What I'll do is just whack a little bit of Vaseline on that to lubricate it so it goes in, won't tear up the O-ring, and then we have a full size injector. So that times 6. Bit of Vaseline on there, try not to get it inside. It doesn't really matter if you do get it inside a little bit, but probably don't aim for that, because it is petroleum jelly, so it will disintegrate when it comes in contact with petrol. But there you go, put it on, and now we have a full-size injector. So when we push these in the manifold, again, we'll lube them up, top and bottom, but I'll just do the spacers for the moment. So we'll do all 6 spacers, and then we'll start putting them in the manifold. Okay, so let's get our injectors in our manifold. We're just going to whack a bit of lube on there. Yes, that's more than enough. Just poke him in there. All right. Bolt in. Bolts in. Right. Okay, fuel rail in, done. So there we have it, injectors in. Man, why is it so hot? Oh, that's right, summer. All right, next up we have our map sensor in this little box. So we are using the BA map sensor. It physically bolts in place, but the wiring is different. So in one of our packages here, I think it's this one, let's have a look. So one of our TI performance packages, I was having a look through the store, and they actually do this little cable. Oh look, injector spacers. I can give them back to Zane. I borrowed them off him. Okay, so there's our little adapter cable. So this will plug into the AU map sensor cable, which is right there. Click. And then this end plugs into this map sensor. Right, so this will allow you to measure boost levels. Well, basically boost levels. Any boost levels. Is that the right way? Or is it that way? It's that way. So it'll go click like that. So we put that into the top half of the manifold. I'll show you where in a sec. And yeah, so that allow us to measure positive boost. Without this, your computer is going to go haywire and hate life. I really shouldn't have plugged that in just yet. So here's the top half of our manifold, and there is the factory map sensor. So basically it's a 7mm bolt. I have a socket right here I prepared earlier. Whip it out. I'm going to leave that alone.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Alright, pull out our old map sensor. Probably won't need that anymore. Where's our new one? Right here. I might whack a little lube on its O-ring just to protect it. We love ourselves a bit of lube. Okay, time to reunite the two halves. I might put this over there for the moment, and we'll carefully peel away our little Elmo cover. Thanks, Elmo. Make sure not to drop any of the dust and crap into the engine. Might save our little Elmo blanket for later. Right, so that's all together. In theory, it should start. But it will probably flood straight away because the bigger regulator, the bigger injectors, the computer's going to be saying you're dealing with injectors that are like 250cc, 290cc, something like that, when they're in reality they're at 1000cc. So yeah, it will probably flood. But it should cough and splutter at least. I have no rear wheels on at the moment, so I can't drive it anywhere. Not that it probably will drive. Let's at least try and start it, so that way we know it was doing something before we screw with it with a J3 chip, and if that doesn't start, then we know we've done something wrong. Okay, so it has to start neutral. I still haven't fixed that issue either. Let's see. Okay, fuel pump primes. Battery's flat. Okay, so we can't fire it up without a jump pack at the moment, so let's just move on to our J3 chip. So I've got all the bits and pieces here in various bags. So as I was saying before, this was sent to me by a viewer, this was sent to me by a viewer, and then I've bought this one from TI Performance. So let's start with the J3 chip, which is in this box, I believe. So they sent us an ECU, but it says EL gear. I'm not sure that an EL gear ECU will work in our AU, so we'll put that aside. But there's the J3 chip. There is a number on the bag. Maybe that corresponds to something from TI Performance, so I might contact Jason at TI and see if this has a tune in it, but we can look at that a bit later. Also had some ARP flywheel bolts. These are typically the bolts, actually looking at them, they look like the bolts that we usually use for Barra flex plates, so they will definitely come in handy down the track. Not necessarily for this, I think we'll be fine for the moment, but yeah. So I'll stick our ECU back in there and stick that in there. All right. So we have our J3 chip. So this is an anti-static bag. So this is basically to protect from static electricity. Well versed in them from my years in telecommunications. It's always a good idea to handle circuit boards from the sides, not grab them across the terminals, where even if you do build up a static charge, you don't want to be allowing that static charge to go directly into the electronics. Anyway, got our J3. So then CJ has sent us, so the original J3 chip was sent to us by Darren, and then CJ has sent me the tuning kit basically. So there's a cord, here's a little emulator thing that's plugs in, so that plugs into your J3 chip, and then you plug this end via the cord into the computer. Got my laptop sitting over there on Trollbo. There's a wideband for us to use, so we will put the wideband in it when we finish off the turbo piping. So right now you'll see this in a upcoming episode. We're going to use the narrow band that comes on the AU. We'll use that in the factory manifold, and then we'll put the wideband in the exhaust after the turbo. Then we've got a wideband controller unit. So this is the sensor controller. So you can wire this in. There's some cables for that as well. So this is super handy. Having the wideband is going to be a game changer for us. There's a bunch of cables to help wire it in, some instructions, and of course the TI Performance sticker will stick to the car somewhere down the track. So we've got instructions printed out for us, and we've got this wideband. So this is basically a wideband sensor controller, which is handy for data logging, which is something you definitely need to do with these. So you basically run the car, maybe drive it if you can, and then you will data log that, go in and via that, and using that data you will then go and make changes to your tune. So to go with that, I've bought this little display unit which basically plugs into it. So I'll be able to mount this inside the cab, have a display unit so I can see what the air fuel ratio is doing in real time. So that way if something is going awry, I can make the decision to get out of it straight away, not have to rely on a data log. And then we've got a serial cable there that will help us. And this handy little cover to help conceal the chip on the ECU, because when you plug these chips into the ECU, as you will see, the back end of it kind of sticks out of the ECU. So they make this little 3D printed cover which will plug in and cover that chip. And we've got a pen and air freshener and another sticker, so some other goodies there. Don't get any lollies. Let's check. I must have ate all the lollies. Sometimes they send you lollies in the packets from TI Performance, so they're handy. And Nomi. Alright, so we've got it all there. So now we just need to make it all work. Alright, first up, we need to get the ECU out of the car. ECU is on the kick panel or under the kick panel on the passenger side. So basically I've got to get in there, get the ECU out so we can open it up and start making our changes. So let's grab that. Okay, now we have our ECU. Okay, so here's our ECU. What I'm going to do is just write on it so there's no confusion. AU Falcon 12s for 2K. Alright, so this is the port on the back where the J3 will plug in. Now they recommend the easiest way of doing this is to actually pull the ECU apart. So undo these six screws, and we're going to have to clean the contacts, scrape and clean the contacts, maybe even do a little bit of sanding to make sure that we get the perfect contact with our J3 chip onto our ECU. So let's pull that apart. I'll go to the Sidcram Nano kit again because it's got all the sizes. Hopefully this size will do the trick. It will. Alright, all 6 screws done. There's our cover plate. Keep that aside. Whoops. And that is the inside of our ECU. Pretty simple. So this is the part we need to clean. So we need to use, they recommend a methylate spirits and then a bit of sanding, maybe some scraping with a screwdriver. There's kind of a waxy slash rubbery film over these. So we have to remove that. So from both sides of the contacts. So remove that. So then we can slide our J3 chip over there and get a good contact. Because it's an AU, you've got to pay attention to this area here. It says in the instructions it needs to have little jumpers across. It looks like it has those, so I think we're good. But in some models it doesn't have those little jumpers, and if it doesn't, you need to add them. Follow the instructions on the TI Performance website. But that was only Series 1, I believe, and our car's not a Series 1. What I'll do first is use a screwdriver on the contacts, just slide it across, sort of peel that rubber coating back. Next up it says use some methylated spirits to clean the contacts. I don't have any metho. But terps. Don't know if it's going to work the same, but I suppose let's give it a crack. Don't know if the terps is actually doing what I want it to do, but we are getting more off there. Now we get some wet and dry and give it a little rub. That's what she said. And yeah, don't go overboard, but yeah, we just want to make sure those contacts are nice and clean. All right, so the options it says to use 600. Don't have any 600. I have 240 and I have 800. So I'm going to undershoot this and go with the 800. I'm pretty confident we are good to go. So that's how it should look. You should see a slight gold there, copper of the contacts. So hopefully we're good to go. Now that we've done that part, we can put our ECU back together. I think it went that way. Yep, that looks about right. And just to illustrate, this is how your J3 chip is going to go in. So it's going to go in like that and push in over those contacts like that. Then, as I said before, I've got this little cover to basically clip over like that. All nice and neat, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's take that off. Take our J3 out because we can't program it with it plugged in. All right, take the J3 out, then we're going to plug in to that connection field there and see what our tune is. So after the failure to start the car yesterday due to the flat battery, went and borrowed this battery charger off of my mate Dan, and it's actually a real good one. I might have to get one of these for myself. It's a Red Arc. It works real good. So anyway, battery's charged, I guess. We'll see if she starts, and once we know it starts, then we can start messing around with that J3 business. Okay, let's give it a try. Pump primes. Oh, she runs. She's a bit rich, as you would imagine. I tried pushing the throttle down, but forgot that I disconnected the throttle cable. Oh, phew. Yeah. So that's the difference between, I think, what are they? 195cc injectors and 1000cc injectors. I'm actually surprised it runs at all. Yes, definitely blew a bit of black smoke there. So yeah, wow, she runs. Wow. Well, that was rather loud. Yeah, and very smoky, some black smoke there. All right, so we know it runs, and noticed it fired straight up. So we have solved our, fuel filter issue. We remember we'd have to prime and prime and prime and prime it again before it would even start up. Now, boom, start straight up. So that is awesome. Now we just need to whack a turbo on top of that hole, make spinny noises, and all the boost. but we also need to control it somehow. So let's see if we can sort out this J3. And we're back. Sorry guys, this video has been shot over the course of a couple of weeks. So yeah, we're a little bit back and forth with things. Okay, there have been developments. Yes. When we finished up last time, I showed you all this gear. We got the manifold back on and together, and then we started the car. So the car runs. We know it runs. I wanted to do that to make sure that, you know, whatever we do now, you know, if it stops running, we know it was something to do with this. So we know it runs right now. Okay, developments. Yes, I've been in contact with TI Performance and Jason's been very helpful. So I've tried plugging into the chip that got sent to us. So there's our emulator and our cable. And I've been playing around and trying to plug in and download whatever it is that's on this J3 chip. And yeah, I've had no success at all. So I reached out to Jason, gave him the numbers off the chip, and just to, you know, find out what is the deal with it. And basically he said that's an older chip. It's for an EL Falcon, which kind of fits because it came with that EL ECU. So it's not really suitable. He says technically you can use it for an AU, but he said for what you're doing with the turbo and all that sort of stuff, you need the latest chip. And that one is not the latest chip, and it's not going to work for you. Not well anyway. So David, thank you, very much appreciated. Maybe we'll do an EL down the track. I'll stick it back in the box in the bag, and we'll save that for a rainy day. So I've had to go and buy another chip, right? So let's take that 150 back out of the budget and put $300 on the budget, because that's what a chip costs from new. So as I said, I've been in contact with TI, and Jason has sent me out a new chip and a stubby cooler. Hey, look at that. And a bag of lollies. Oh, these lollies are really nice too. And there's our chip. So I gave Jason all the specs and basically said, this is what we're doing. This turbo, this fuel pump, this regulator, these injectors, and he has written us a tune that should work out of the box to an extent. Will it be perfect? It's never going to be perfect. Like, it's just impossible that it would be perfect. But it sounds like it might be a really good starting point. So, thank you for that, Jason. What else we got there? Just pens, some stickers, notepad. I'll probably need to take lots of notes. All that sort of stuff. And oh, a big sticker. Look at that. Well, we've got all this. I figure let's plug this into the ECU and make sure she fires up with this in place, because you know, that can be a thing. I have great faith that Jason will have this right in terms of at least just firing up. So I guess let's plug it into the ECU and make sure she starts, and then we can go from there. Needs to go that way. All right, plug on. Let's put that cover on just to protect it. So here's the test, and you guys know me, this is legitimately going to be the first test. So when testing these things, typically when you turn the key to prime, it'll prime for a couple seconds and the pump will switch off. That is normal operation. If this does anything different with the chip in place, then we've got a problem. So hopefully when I turn the key to prime, it will prime the pump for a couple seconds and switch off. If that happens, I think we're sweet. So let's see. Primed and turned off. All right, hold on to your butts. It started and it wasn't blowing black smoke, so that's pretty amazing. That is a very good start. Obviously it turned off by itself, so maybe we need to use some throttle pedal there to keep it running. I've got to run the cable across to the throttle, but it starts, so that is an amazing start for us. Right, well, it runs. How good is that? Is a huge load off my mind, I've got to say. The fact that it runs with a J3 chip in it, huge. So thank you to Jason at TI Performance. Sorry I haven't shown you the full TI, J3 experience yet. I do want to get into the whole tuning and stuff, but it's not going to happen in this video, mainly because we don't have time to mess about. The setup's incomplete, so there's no point making widebands and things happen when, it's just all going to be wrong. We need the wideband in the dump pipe. We need to set it up properly. We don't have time to mess about. So we got 9 days until Australia Day, and that's including Australia Day. So legitimately, we've got 8 days to get this thing ready, running in time to get it to Heathcote Park for Australia Day. There's a few cars coming out. I hope everyone's on target. It'd be great to see you out there. If you're coming out, please do. Love to see you there because, I'm not saying it's going to run 12s first out. If it runs a 13 on Australia Day, I will be stoked. Back when we did 13s for 1300, that was a bit of a chore. I mean, we went in the high 14s the first time we took it out and we struggled. It wasn't until we actually had a thought about what the problem was and come back the next day and we actually got it going and got it into the 13s, and then from there we tuned it down into the low 13s. So it was not a straightaway thing. I'm hoping some people come out and I hope they go 12s. I'd love to see that. If you're in the area and you want to come out and join us, please do. That would be awesome. But yeah, I don't have a lot of time to get this sorted, so let's sort it, get it done properly, go out the track, and I'll see you there at Australia Day. But we've got a couple more videos. So we've got this video obviously dropping, well, tomorrow, and then another one before Australia Day. So come back and see us then, and you'll see a lot more progress on this car. Lots to do, but I have the whole week to do it. So let's make it happen. See you then. Like, subscribe, comment, buy a t-shirt or some stickers. That'd be great. See you guys.